Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for clicking on another video. If it's your first time here, I welcome you to subscribe. This is my workshop for those who aren't familiar, and I've been in here, this new workshop, about 3.5 months now, and I absolutely love it. I've been still moving things around, changing up the layout. One thing I haven't figured out yet is a good way to store all of these types of tools. All the types of power hand tools, drills, impact drivers, the multi-tool, more impact drivers, a circular saw, a whole bunch of different stuff here that I want a neat way to do it. Right now they're just all piled up in a mound on shelves here, and it is not nice. It's no fun picking them out. It looks terrible. Blades and stuff are getting beat up, and tools are getting chewed up because they're laying on top of one another. I want to fix that. Now, I've seen several different ways of doing this online, ways that have all kinds of cutouts and fit, and I don't like that type of thing. I want like a uniform type of holder for everything, which is a little bit difficult, but I think I've got a way to do it. And we're going to be using steel, so if you're interested, you've got to be able to work with steel. Now I'm going to go ahead and start laying this out. I figure a lot of my Dewalt stuff has this sort of notch here that will allow it to be held upside down by the battery holster. I'm just going to start laying out some of these. So I'm going to be using angle iron, bolted straight into the wall in this fashion. But notice that every tool here has sort of that narrow hook. We're going to be putting posts here on either side, all the way along. Same here, notice the reciprocating saw has this notch in here. The circular saw has the notch down there. I'm going to go around there, so I'm just laying it out. We can have 2 post studs there. Now I'm going to get an idea of how deep we'll want those post studs. So I've determined 3.5 inches is about the perfect length. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark a bunch. Let's see, 2 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 tools, so I need 18 posts.
The very useful tool that I'm using here is a Milwaukee deep cut portable bandsaw. You can get these from Dewalt, Makita, various makers. You can get them battery powered, which would be really handy, but this Milwaukee is really excellent, really strong, and I just love it. For different types of fab projects like this, it's a must-have in my opinion. So clean, no sparks, no dust, just small, clean cut filings from the teeth. Now here are all those posts, just fresh cut. I did take them on my belt grinder, and as you can see here, I chamfered the top edge and I cleaned up the bottom edge for welding, because steel like this is cooled in oil, so it has sort of a scale on the surface. It doesn't weld real well. You'll want to grind off that dark coating before you start welding, and make sure you chamfer that top edge as well, because that edge is sharp. Will tear up your tools, will tear up your hands when reaching for them, and you'll want to clean that up. But from here on out, it's basically just test fitting, making sure each tool has a slot that fits real nice and snug. There's not too much slop, your tool hangs nice and cleanly, and that you can get it out. Of course, every tool is a little bit different shape, size, width, so you can't just mark off even spacings like 6 inches between every tool post. That won't work. The circular saw, for example, is really wide and awkward shape, so it can't have a tool very close to it. The drill and the drivers and stuff can be pretty evenly spaced and compact there, but some of the tools you just can't do that. Notice the red magnet jig that I'm using here. These are just kind of a general fabrication type tool. Most fabricators would have these in various sizes. It's just a magnet that gives you a 90 degree, a 45 degree, and it's great. They held these 5/8 rods, these posts, really nicely and helped me get everything nice and straight. Now regarding wall mounting, I just drilled 3/16 holes at each 16-inch increment, because that would be where the wall studs are. And this is heavy in itself, being steel, and with all those tools, it is a little bit of weight, so you want to make sure you're mounting into the studs. Mount on 16s, and then you just offset it wherever you're going to hit those studs. So that's what I did. It would have helped to have a second person here to hang it up, but I pinched one end into the stud. I used my level, pivoted up, and then you can see I'm hanging the next stud here, so it's level. Once I have it held in place, I went ahead and drilled into all the studs, just with standard brass Robertson screws. And of course, this is the moment of truth, seeing if every tool actually hangs sensibly, because there's no way to test that before you actually build it and hang it on the wall. There's no way to know if the circular saw, for example, is going to hang vertically and neatly. But thankfully, everything turned out just beautifully. I'm convinced that this is the system to use, and if I ever get any more tools, I'll get more angle iron and steel rod, and I'll do the same type of thing. It just works so smooth, as you can see here. It looks really tidy. Gets your tools up nice and neat off the floor. It stops them from getting wrecked up, from being piled in boxes or crates and stuff. And it is quite fast as well. I really, really like it.
So that is my design added to the mix. I haven't seen anything like this out there, but I am very pleased. It's always nice when things work out in practice as you have it in your mind in theory. It works awesome. It's at a good height for me. Their tools are easy to grab to come in and out, and there's not a bunch of weird slots. If any of these tools happens to break down or I don't have it anymore, most of the slots are within a close tolerance to the same size. So pretty much any impact driver or drill would fit in these slots. So that's the problem I saw with a lot of the designs. They were very specific cutouts, and you go through all the work to make them, and then if your tool breaks down, you have this weird big slot in this entire board or whatever. So I'm not gone on that idea. This, for me, it seems like a more practical design. So I hope you guys like it. If you think there's anything I could have done differently, let me know down in the comments section. If it's your first time here, subscribe. One thing I did want to mention, if you don't have a welder where you can't weld, you're in an area where you can't do that, I was thinking you could do this with bolts instead. You would need to space your angle iron out off the wall to account for the head of the bolt in behind, but you could easily pull it off by just drilling holes, running bolts out through, and a nut in against, so you have those long stems coming out. That would work just great. I didn't bother painting this. Just like my steel tables, everything I welded up for the shop, I don't see the need, at least yet. Maybe in the future, if I see everything is permanent and is working good, maybe I'll paint it up and make it permanent. But for right now, it's staying like that, and I like that kind of rugged steel look anyways. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here. We'll see you in the next video.